Meetings, love them or hate them, they are a fundamental part of our work lives. Some can be amazing and, well, others can be a total drain. So in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into Chapter 7 and break down all the key lessons to help you master the art of the effective meeting. So, here's our game plan. We're going to follow the entire meeting life cycle. First, we'll figure out why so many meetings go off the rails. Then, we'll get into the crucial planning stage, talk about how to actually run the thing, tackle the wild world of online meetings, and even cover how to handle those tricky conversations. And then, of course, we'll wrap it all up. All right, let's kick things off with the big one. Why are so many meetings just not great? If we can understand the common mistakes, we can get way better at avoiding them. Oh man, I think every single one of us has been there, right? You're just sitting there watching the minutes tick by, and all you can think about is the mountain of work waiting for you. That feeling? That's symptom number one of an ineffective meeting, and that's exactly what we're here to fix. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be that way. The flip side is that a great meeting, it's a game changer. It's not just about getting things done. It's about creating real energy, sparking new ideas, and getting the whole team on the same page. The goal isn't just to have fewer bad meetings, it's to have way more great ones. And sometimes a meeting fails before it even starts. And that can be because of something as simple as timing. Check this out. The data here is super revealing. You can see how productivity kind of dips early in the morning and then totally falls off a cliff in the afternoon. So what's the takeaway? Aim for that sweet spot, right between 10 a.m. and noon. That's when you're going to have everyone's best energy and focus. And that leads us perfectly into what is, honestly, the most critical part, the planning. A great meeting is no accident. It is absolutely designed. And a little bit of work up front saves a world of pain later. So the very first thing you got to ask is, why are we even having this meeting? Is this a coordination meeting where we're just talking about who's doing what? Or is it a problem-solving meeting where we need to get creative and brainstorm? Trying to jam both into one meeting is a classic recipe for disaster, so get crystal clear on your purpose from the get-go. In this slide, this is your blueprint, the agenda. It is so much more than just a list of stuff to talk about. A really good agenda tells everyone why they're there. That's the purpose. And, this is the big one, it tells them what you need to have accomplished by the end. That's your desired outcome. You send this out beforehand, and boom, everyone shows up ready to go. Okay, so you've got your blueprint, now it's showtime. Let's talk about actually running the meeting. How do you guide a discussion so it doesn't wander off track and you actually get stuff done? Leading a meeting is a really active job. Just starting on time shows you respect everyone's time. A good facilitator doesn't just talk. They actively pull people into the conversation. They make sure all the voices in the room are heard. But their most important job? To take all that great discussion and turn it into a concrete plan of action. Okay, super important point here. The meeting isn't actually over when it's over. The follow-up is everything. It's where all those great decisions turn into actual work. You gotta wrap up the meeting by clearly stating the action items. Then send out some minutes that spell out who is doing what and by when. That's how you keep the momentum going. All right, let's switch gears and talk about something we are all very familiar with these days, the online meeting. The game changes a bit when you're not all in the same room, so getting this right is a skill you just have to have. Yeah, this picture pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? This is our world now. Whether you're fully remote or hybrid, we spend so much time staring at screens. And because you lose all those little in-person cues, you have to be way more intentional to make these things work well. Look, I know this stuff can feel like basic etiquette, but trust me, it makes a huge difference. Your background, what you're wearing, how focused you are, it all sends a message. Simple things like nodding or looking at the camera when you talk show people you're locked in, and that encourages them to do the same. It's all about creating that professional presence, even from your living room. And this all feeds into a really, really important idea called psychological safety. It's so easy for people to just fade into the background in an online meeting and not speak up. So to get the best from your team, you have to create a space where people feel safe enough to be themselves and share their real ideas. That means making time for a little small talk, actively calling on people, and just being clear about how you're all going to communicate. Okay, time to level up. Because no matter how perfect your plan is, disagreements and tough topics are gonna come up. Being able to handle those moments with grace is what separates the good communicators from the great ones. And the biggest thing here, really, is a mindset shift. You have to stop dreading these conversations and start seeing them as an opportunity. I mean it. A tough conversation is usually where the real breakthroughs happen. It's where problems get solved. So don't run from them. Embrace them. So how do you do that? Well, the real work actually starts inside your own head before you even open your mouth. You have to go in assuming the other person has good intentions, even if you totally disagree with them. Your goal should be to learn their perspective, not to win the argument. And of course, you've got to stay calm.
Okay, so once your head is in the right space, these are the tools you bring into the actual conversation. Try to find something, anything, you both agree on to start. And when you do have to disagree, validate their point first. Say something like, okay, I see where you're coming from, before you give your side. The goal is always to move away from blame and toward finding a solution together.
Phew. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, right? From planning all the way to those tough conversations. So let's boil it all down and look at the biggest takeaways from this chapter. Here it is. When you zoom out, this entire chapter really comes down to these 4 massive skills. First, you've got to master the planning. Second, you learn how to run a killer meeting. Third, you adapt those skills and learn how to conduct them online. And finally, you build the confidence to manage those tough but crucial conversations. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge, because all this information is great, but it's useless if you don't apply it. So think about it. What is the one single thing you will do differently in your very next meeting to make it better? Whether it's sending out a real agenda or just scheduling it for 10:30 in the morning, what's your one thing going to be?